seen remarkable stories of recovery play out in the years since the Boston Marathon bombings. Many of the victims who lost legs are up and walking. And last month, we even saw one dance again. What we have not seen is how simple tasks like flipping on a light switch or climbing stairs present real challenges to those injured in the blasts. Now, the state-run Boston Survivors Accessibility Alliance is teaming up with volunteers, including a crew from Ask This Old House, to make renovations to 7 homes, including that of Karen Rand. She was waiting at the finish line with her friend Krystle Campbell when the bombs went off. Campbell was one of 3 people killed, and Rand lost part of her leg.
I'm always going to have challenges for the rest of my life, but I'm learning to face those and deal with them as they come.
But the first thing we want to start with are your front steps. And Tom, you've had a look at them.
I have had a look at them. First of all, when they build a wooden stair, they always like to put an overhang on it like this. And aesthetically, that's great. It also gives a nice wide platform to step on when you're going up the stairs. The problem is with someone with a prosthetic, if they climb the stair, they drag that foot, they can actually trip on that overhang.
That is true, and that has happened to me. I have to think about it all the time when I'm going up and down.
All right, well, Karen Rand's new front steps are only a piece of the renovations being done to her 3rd floor Somerville walk-up. Michael McHugh is a project manager at Davis Square Architects. He's making changes to her porch, bathroom, kitchen. Welcome. So what else are you doing to help out Karen?
We helped design her new front steps, as you may have seen on the intro from Ask This Old House. We also did a brand new...
You took the lip away. What else did you do?
New railings, handrails. They were kind of rickety and needed...
Did you replace the wood with something else?
Yeah, we replaced it with a new non-slip synthetic product. So it'll last a long time. Those old wood steps were rotted out.
Now, you told me she didn't want an elevator. You offered, but, I mean, how is she getting around in general?
She's pretty amazing. She adapted very quickly to the prosthetic and moves around the house pretty agilely. Up and down the steps. It's a little bit much to come all the way down 3 floors just to get a little fresh air. And she,
or the paper.
Or the paper. But she wanted a place to sit outside, so we also renovated the roof deck for her. It was an old roof deck. You couldn't really get out on it. You know, the railing was kind of rickety, so we built a nice solid deck with solid rails.
There it is. Beautiful.
There it is. She can sit out there now and just walk out and get some sun without having to go down 3 flights.
That's great. All right, let's bring in Thomas Gadzunas. He's Commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Public Safety. Thanks for joining us, Tom. So this was essentially your brainchild. I mean, this is, you said, right after the marathon bombing, you said the state has to step in and do something. You formed this alliance, and then did you get separate monies to do this? Not one fund money, but how did you do it?
No, it actually started, I went to the MEMA emergency bunker on the day of the marathon, and as I was watching, kind of helping out there, and then watching the carnage and everything that had happened that day, I realized that the survivors were going to need a lot of help and a lot of work in order to be able to relive or to live back in their homes. So I reached out to the architectural community, Renovate for Recovery through the Boston Society of Architects, the engineering community, contractors, the Home Builders Association, and every one of them, every one that I asked, as I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth, and they said, what can we do to help? How can we help? So I'm very proud to say that as of today, we have 8 survivors that we're working with, and they're range in renovations from just a simple bathroom and front stoop remodel to complete additions and elevators being installed. It's all being done at no cost to the survivors. Everything is pretty much donated from everybody. There was a small pool, I call it a small pool, not so small, $250,000, that was put forward from the legislature to help the survivors with some moving expenses, or if they needed to rent homes because their homes weren't accessible for them. And so we've been using some of that monies, but primarily it's all been donated goods and services and labor. Mike has put in, I don't know, hundreds of hours of design services for this project, and the other architects are doing the same thing.
So I noticed, I was looking at the list, a lot of people wanted to remain anonymous. They're not ready. Karen decided to be public, but some of the names have not been associated. But what other special needs? I mean, everybody has a very, very different injury. I've met so many of these survivors now, and some of them, they may have their feet or their legs, but they've got such severe damage, nerve damage, hand damage. So what are the kinds of things have you had to do?
Well, a lot of reach ranges, you know, a whole kitchen would have to be rearranged in order to be able to use it, depending on your disability. We had volunteers from groups, Institute for Human-Centered Design and occupational therapists who also volunteered their services to help us come up with other ideas to how to make the
You go into the home, though, with the person and actually watch them get around and see, like, if they need help with a light switch or...
We bring the occupational therapist in so that either the actual survivor's occupational therapist is coming in, or if they, you know, don't have one or that occupational therapist can't be there, then there's the organization of occupational therapists that have actually also donated their services. So they come in as we do our initial site assessments and our secondary site assessment to help us determine what needs to be done for the survivor. And it really has ranged from something as simple as changing the light switches in someone's home. If you think of the small individual switches that we've all had in our homes, if you can't use your fingers very well, those are very difficult to manipulate. So we've gone to the paddle type, which make it much, much easier. It can be done with a closed fist or an elbow or you name it. So it's ranged from that all the way to, as I've said, you know, bathrooms, full kitchen, elevators, changing out faucets so that they have the paddle handles.
Now, Karen Rand actually read about it through a website she found, or her husband found it or something. How can people get in touch with you if they, I mean, it's not too late to get on board with
this. It is absolutely not too late. The information is on my website, mass.gov/DPS, as in Department of Public Safety. Boston Survivors. Thank you. Boston Survivors Accessibility Alliance. It's also a feature story right on the website. Myself and the director of the Architectural Access Board. Our photograph is there, and there's a little quick video clip that we've put together that's on it.
So I assume you're taking volunteers as well.
Absolutely. We still have many survivors that we're working with, and we still need a lot of goods and services.
All right. Thomas Getsunis and Michael McHugh, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.